Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food on a day off. And what have I done with my day? Well, I walked 4 miles. I did some grocery shopping. I went to another meeting. I just had a wonderful meal that I made sure in my Lose It tracker that it was all correct. I moved the salad that I planned for lunch to the dinner time because that's how I do it. I keep as current as I possibly can. And I watched about 25 minutes of my In Defense of Food with Michael Pollan. And this was really cool. This is what I always like, and this is what I work on with the women. So there was this wonderful man, I think Cornell, and his name was Brian Winsang, something like that. And he is the top dog when it comes to eating behaviors. And so he invited a whole bunch of students and teachers into for lunch. And he had those Chinette plates, the dinner ones, the dinner size, those are those heavy-duty paper ones. And he had them get scoops of ziti off of the top of the stove, not heated, just sitting in a bowl on top of the stove. And as they're sitting down, he said, "Oh my goodness, it's cold. Throw it on out, get another plate from the cabinet, and have what's in the microwave," which is the heated up, same meal, ziti with sauce. And he has some sort of scale calculator that could calculate how many calories were in each portion. And they kind of knew that they were in the place of being, not duped, but, lab rats, as it were. And I guess the amount of calories that were saved were, 30 or 40 for the ziti. And his studies have shown that people will put the same amount of food on the plate, not the same scoop of, but somehow intuitively know it's the same scoop proportionally. So the dinner plate was a larger portion of the ziti than the smaller one. And he said, if you did this, if you worked with a smaller plate and you did your usual thinking, it's as full as it can be, you will save yourself 9 pounds in a year. And so, of course, for college students with the freshman 40, unless it's the freshman 10 still, or 15, going on to the 40 they've gained through high school, right? So then it showed him going into a high school. And so what they do was he did a study, of course, with this cafeteria. And the first 3 items are what people usually take the most of. And so with, the cafeteria workers' usual placement of things would cause all the high-end, high-calorie, high-fat, not good fat, but, junk garbage stuff at the beginning. And so he redid it. And he did it with little containers with like little cups and of hunks of watermelon. And then the next one were carrot sticks with some sort of a dip. And oh gosh, I can't remember the third thing, but in the same vein as healthy. And then he had low beef patties, I think whole wheat buns if you chose, and quesadilla. And although the school still sold chocolate milk, so people would get their milk, once you filled up with the one thing of the carrot sticks, one thing of the third thing that I can't remember, one thing of the watermelon, and then you put your milk on it, as you pushed it down, the little slide thing that they have, right at checkout, he had a really pretty basket filled with apples. And he said that apple intake has increased something like 33% just putting it in a pretty basket at checkout. And he said, we're doing the same thing that they do at 7-Eleven, except instead of the garbage, it's an apple. And so it showed the students eating, and are they really paying attention to what they're eating anyway? So that was interesting. And then I'm not sure if it was a buffet. It was a breakfast buffet. And so typically at this breakfast buffet, the first three ingredients are scrambled eggs with cheese, the second is bacon, and the third is potatoes. That's the typical. And then for his experiment, he did chopped up fruit salad, and then low-fat granola, and then low-fat yogurt. And so what you typically would put for 2/3 of your plate with the eggs, the bacon, and the home fries became the fruit salad, the low-fat yogurt, and the low-fat granola to take up 2/3 of it. So it's just fascinating, and that's how I feel, because I'm a small plate, small spoon, small fork, small dish person. And that's how I roll, and that's what's worked for me since Overeaters in the 70s when I began. And it does make a difference, except for my bowl food. When I have something in a bowl, it will still be that great big fiesta, what they call the pasta bowl. And so, it's not overflowing with pasta now. It's overflowing with vegetables, and then a small amount of meat, and then the sauce on top of it. And that's what I'm having tonight with the leftover pork roast and Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and either a shaved or a zoodled organic zucchini that I got today, about the size of a hot dog bun. And so, anyway, it was just very, very interesting. And he did a lot of work in some of those third world countries to see how they eat, what they eat. And most of them aren't fat. None of them have heart attacks or any of the chronic diseases that we as Americans have. So he got some people to do an experiment with some African Americans here in Pittsburgh, and then black people in whatever country it was. I think it was Tunisia. And I think in 2 weeks, they did 2 weeks so the people from Africa were eating the standard American diet, and the people in Pittsburgh were eating the way that they eat in Tunisia. And in 2 weeks, all the markers changed on the labs of the people in Pittsburgh, as did for the people eating the food in Tunisia. And so just another fascinating study. And it shows them just picking berries off of trees and just eating them. And their diet is so high in fiber over there. And of course, they're not having any of the things that contribute to what we have today, that contributes to our, metabolic syndrome, prediabetes, diabetes, obesity, the diet diseases, the diseases that come from the standard American diet. Fascinating, fascinating. Now, Michael Pollan does talk about eating grains, and so I have heard some other doctors, J.J. Virgin, I think maybe, after an elimination time period has gone by. So for some people, they can do it. And he studied also some Seventh-day Adventists, and it showed them in a cafeteria-style environment. Stop me if you've heard this. The average age of these people in whatever home it must be, and then they go to lunch at the cafeteria in the building, is 92. 92. Two of them were over 100, and one that was 92 or 93, she walks 4 miles a day, and she does it in the hallway, 28 back and forth in the hallway, or 24 back and forth in this particular hallway. And it showed them eating. All of them are vegetarian. It showed one adorable couple. He's 95 and she's 92. And they've eaten vegetarian all their lives, and obviously quite healthy. And so amazing, amazing. All of them, all of these people, and they don't look their age either. You can tell they're elderly, but no way do they look 100. And they're dancing, and they're on their tiptoes, and they're walking, and they're doing some movement exercises. Probably somebody comes in and does a class. And so it shows to Goya that if you start taking care of yourself now, you can capture more good years. He did find in this Seventh-day Adventist study that those that ate meat have 9 less years of living on average than the ones that always ate a vegetarian diet. So just some interesting little snippets in a half hour. I think I took 15 minutes to tell you what happened in a half hour. But fascinating stuff. And, this is the sort of stuff that I live for. I love the behavioral parts. I have a thing. Oh, and he was talking about social norms and how in the old days, eating while walking or eating standing up or eating in the car, all of these things just simply weren't allowed, simply didn't happen. And today, it could be the norm for you, for a regular way of being. And I won't eat. If I'm having one of those like crazy, crazy days at work, I'm not going to eat if it's crazy, crazy. I am not going to stand and shove something in, walking from house to house or up the stairs or down the cellar stairs to get supplies. I'm not going to be shoving something in. I will wait until I can sit down because I'm a diner. I'm a diner, and I think that that is important. With my little spoon, my little fork, and my little dish, and my little bowl, And so the house that I work in, there's 2 houses, 2 residences there, and the house that I work in, they all know how I feel about standing and eating. And every time somebody new moves in there, I will say to one of the other clients in front of the one that's eating, that's new to the building, and what is Sarah's pet peeve? And they'll say, eating while standing up. And so I invite them to, they hate it at first, and I don't know if they'll know anything else, but for the rest of their lives, they might hear me in their ears, don't eat standing up. Food is so precious, and it's so sacred, and it should be enjoyed, especially if you're like me and like a lot of people here, you're buying organic, you're buying grass-fed, you're buying the best of the best. Don't shove it in. Don't eat in your car. Please don't. Just kind of dine. Bring in a cloth napkin. Really have an experience. Taking 10 minutes to shove something in while you're driving takes the same 10 minutes to eat while seated and calm and just enjoying the meal, right? We don't have designated lunch hours or breaks where I work because it's the nature of the beast. So that's why, I don't dine until I can. And when it's all hectic and crazy and chaotic, I'm not going to. I'm just not going to. I might substitute my second cup of strong coffee today, which is the Veranda Blonde Starbucks Keurig that I got on sale, Stop and Shop today. So that's it. That's my mini little thing. Oh my God. Oh, 13 minutes. I thought it said 21. So that's that. If you can see in Defense of Food, you'll learn a lot about where it comes from and what's done to it, as well as other customs, as well as wonderful little vignettes about people that make choices, that made choices, maybe from birth, maybe they were raised that way, and the health that they enjoy because of it. So I want to be just like them when I grow up. How about you guys? Have a wonderful day in defense of food, in defense of eating while sitting. Have a wonderful day. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Bye-bye for now.